Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. The liberal media is at it again, and today we're spotlighting another episode of sheer absurdity. Jen Psaki, former Biden White House mouthpiece and now, surprise, surprise, an MSNBC host, apparently thinks it's her divine calling to mock others for their religious beliefs. She attacked the new Speaker of the House of Representatives on her MSNBC show. And when you hear the things she said, you will no longer be sitting on the fence that this woman is an ignorant fool. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. So, Psaki attacked Mike Johnson because he said the following. I believe that scripture, the Bible, is very clear that God is the one that raises up those in authority. Now, if you're a Christian, that's what you believe, and there's nothing wrong with it. He went on saying, he raised up each of you, all of us. He was speaking to the members of the House. One way to look at it is that he was saying that in the eyes of God, I'm no different from you. We are all blessed. He concluded, and I believe that God has ordained and allowed each one of us to be brought here for this specific moment and this time. Now, when you think about it, it was rather touching. I thought it was. The notion that elected officials have a purpose and a responsibility. But Ms. Psaki, she saw it a different way. Let's just give it a listen.
Another deeply religious conservative Republican just ascended to the speakership and is now second in line to the presidency. One of the key differences between Mike Pence and Mike Johnson is, well, Pence refused to go along with Donald Trump's efforts to overturn the election in 2020, while Mike Johnson was a key architect of that plot. Apparently, there is still a place in the Republican Party for extreme Christian conservatism, so long as it's paired with a fealty to the former president. So let's take a few minutes to talk about this new speaker. First glance, Mike Johnson does seem fine-ish. Conservative, yes, but he once started a civility caucus with a Democrat. And I mean, if nothing else, he wears a suit and has glasses. How threatening can this guy actually be? Well, he gave us all a little clue as to how he would govern in an interview this week.
I am a Bible-believing Christian. Someone asked me today in the media, they said, it's curious, people are curious, what does Mike Johnson think about any issue under the sun? I said, well, go pick up a Bible off your shelf and read it. That's my worldview.
You heard that right. The Bible doesn't just inform his worldview, it is his worldview. In fact, during his first speech in his new job, Johnson suggested that his election as speaker was an act of God. Talk about a bit of a humble brag there.
A humble brag? Come on, Jen. I'm not sure Ms. Psaki is quite up to date with her slang, or maybe she's still confused by the definition. Johnson expressing his genuine belief is now seen as boastful by the left. Really? You know, Johnson went on to talk about using one's gift from God to serve the American people. And Psaki just couldn't let that pass.
So what exactly has God apparently called on Mike Johnson to do?
You see this, the ignorance of this woman? It's all leftists that are like this. She's saying that Mike Johnson, claimed that God told him what to do, how he's going to govern. She's just an ignoramus. He never said that.
Well, his views on policy are essentially what you'd expect from a religious fundamentalist. They're more divisive than they are divine.
Divisive? It's now divisive to have faith, Jen? That's fascinating. Insulting the man over his faith during a speech where he was opening up to the American people isn't divisive at all, according to Jen Psaki. The opening up part was. When Johnson said that when someone asked him in the media, someone like Jen Psaki, like, what does Mike Johnson think about any issue under the sun? Didn't say, what does he think about war? What does he think about running as Speaker of the House? No, he said, any issue under the sun. And he said, well, go pick up a Bible off your shelf and read it. That's my worldview. Now, a lot of people on the left don't understand when they say that the Bible is your worldview, and that's because they've never read the Bible and they don't care to. Trust me, it's not a bad thing. Having a worldview of the Bible is not a bad thing because there's so much in the Bible that was written that is about everyday life. But ignoramuses like Jen Psaki and other leftists would never know that. Psaki went on to say, Johnson is basically a Christian fundamentalist. He believes that America is a Christian nation and that those values should be reflected in our interpretation of the Constitution. Now, she said this derogatorily. First of all, Psaki intentionally got it wrong. Trust me, this was intentional. She said that Johnson is a Christian fundamentalist. The reason she did that, correct way to describe him is a fundamentalist Christian, but she declared he was a Christian fundamentalist in the same way that people declare that a terrorist is an Islamic fundamentalist. Trust me, folks, that was intentional. And fundamentalist Christians simply believe that the words in the Bible are God's literal voice, that man wrote the words in the Bible and God gave them those words. That's what they believe. Ooh, they're going to destroy the world. Instead, we should take her worldview. This woman worked for Joe Biden, the most divisive son of a bitch who ever sat in the White House. This woman used to speak for the President of the United States. It's disgusting. It's amazing how Psaki's mind works. She insulted Johnson for saying America is a Christian nation. Christianity is still the most predominant religion in the United States. As of 2021, 63% of the population identified as Christian. That's 210 million out of 332 million people. Now, when you talk to a jackass like Jen Psaki, he'll say that what he meant by that was that we are governed by a Christian theology. We're a theocracy. Not what he said, and it's not what he meant at all. And incidentally, when you add in the 10 million illegal aliens that Joe Biden brought into the country, that Jen Psaki excused away day after day from the White House press room, it goes way up there because a lot of these people coming in from South America and elsewhere are Christians. By the way, I wonder how many of Joe's illegal aliens would consider themselves fundamentalist Christian. It's just another example of how the left seems so intent on attacking anyone who doesn't fit their narrow worldview. If history serves us right, it's the same line of questioning they had for JFK about his Catholicism. JFK was a Catholic, and the leftist media, even back then, were questioning, is he going to rule as a Catholic? Will his faith force him? Like no Protestant they could ever ask a question like that, right? So if you're keeping score at home, expressing faith, bad. Mocking someone for their faith, in Psaki's world, it's just another day at the office. All right, make sure you subscribe to our channel and share our videos with like-minded friends. Stay informed, stay vigilant. Always remember to read between the lines and the lies. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.
I remember the days, all those years ago that never fade away. And I remember your face when you hit the ground. I can recall the time and place.